Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast. I've got my Elvis Presley haircut today for the stage 17 of the Tour of France. We have from Chambéry to Voiron. I think this was the best stage of the Tour so far. That's my take. This stage had everything. It had GC podium anxiety, GC top 10 cheekiness, teams classification fight, stage win fight, and points jersey fight. 5 different things being fought for on one stage. Rarely happens. From start to the finish, the whole time. So, sorry, there's a horse that's loose that some people are trying to corral. That's distracting me. But anyway, I don't know why it can't be in that paddock.
The one thing that came into my mind when watching this finish is Münsterland Giro. That's like the race that comes in mind when I look at a race like this, where it's all out, not just like breakaways and attacks, but also breakaways with actual sprinters involved. And you don't see that very often, which it maybe happens like once per 3 Grand Tours is what I feel like. But I want to jump straight into the profile here because the parcours today was a typical breakaway stage. I think that's fair to say. We had a bit of climbing at the start though, Patrick. We had a start in Chambéry to Voiron, 175 kilometers with 4 categorized climbs in the first 60 kilometers, but it's 4th cat and 3 cat climbs, so nothing too crazy. But it's crazy enough to make it intriguing when it comes to the fight between Philipsen and Pedersen in terms of the green jersey. So that's the real thing I was looking for, because going into the stage, well, I'll first continue the profile. Last half of this parcours is rolling, I would say. Quite a few flat sections, but also a few bumps in the road, including one in the last 5 to 7 kilometers roughly. So a bit of a bump there that will matter in this stage. Now, green jersey fight, Patrick. What were the standings going into this? And what were the expectations when it comes to Pedersen for this one?
Well, Pedersen has a 31-point lead ahead of Jasper Philipsen. It's a 50-point stage and 25 points at the intermediate sprint. So a maximum of 75 points that you can take. But Pedersen's nursing a 31-point lead. The finish is not that hard. All of the difficulties of this stage are almost all contained in the first 60 kilometers. Yeah. It's not 3,000 meters of elevation gain. It's 2,300, and it's a 2.5K, 4% highway that's like cresting 3Ks from the finish. That is not a problem for classic sprinters. So it's on Alpecin to put the 50 points in play for Philipsen. For Trek, you want, in an ideal blue sky world, you win the IS with Pedersen and you win the stage with Pedersen and green is over. Okay, ideal world. But it's also okay if a break wins with neither Pedersen nor Philipsen, because Philipsen cannot take any points at the intermediate sprints in the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And then Pedersen has to just... Yeah, I guess the problem was if Philipsen wins in Paris, that can make it really tight.
Yeah, like you said it, a break even would be good for Pedersen. If the standings stay the same today, he'd still be ahead and the next 2 stages would be beneficial. But on the other hand, I think they also wanted to secure green today. And I think the activities in the stage show that, because the stage kicks off and Pedersen is super active in early break formation, literally launching groups himself. And he does regret that later. Now, it was what felt to me like rolling attacks by Trek in general. It wasn't just Pedersen, but then eventually Simmons is the one that launches the first proper breakaway. And that's one that Pedersen misses, but there's some really solid riders in that breakaway, Patrick, including Niels Pollitt, Tish Benoit, Sean Quinn, Tarling, Jorgensen. I don't know why I said that in the most Danish way possible. Matteo Jorgensen, Alex Baudin, Hagen. So 2 riders for Visma there. Balderstone, Engelhardt for Jayco. I won't go through every single name, but the most important one that I haven't mentioned yet is Mathieu van der Poel being part of this breakaway. So that's a factor that will be relevant, because am I wrong in saying that once I saw the run into the Col de Pré, that 3-kilometer climb you mentioned earlier, that Alpecin was both pacing with Van der Poel in the breakaway and had 3 riders at the front of the peloton, 25-30 seconds behind at the foot of that climb?
Yeah, Alpecin were happy to let... If Van der Poel was going to get gifted the stage win, and if Pedersen was not going to be in the break, and it was going to be just no Pedersen or Philipsen taking any points today, they were happy to let Van der Poel take the stage win. In fact, And indeed, like, I thought that break was gone because no sprinters made it. UAE were also aggressively, Pogacar was controlling himself. Trek riders trying to go in the breakaway. Pedersen said in the pre-race interview that they were like, he was sort of already unhappy that UAE were going to fight them to go on the break for team's classification, because he said, yeah, but we're going to lose it in the next 3 days. I kind of am on UAE's side here in that you can't go for team's classification for 2.5 weeks and then be like, no, we're not really going for it on the stage that suits Trek the most to take time on team's classification.
I completely agree there. So I don't necessarily mind that happening. That said, it's not ideal that Pogacar has to do it himself. I felt like I maybe expected other UAE riders to be in that position, but Polit was in the breakaway ahead. So technically, that was also not bad for them, because Simmons versus Polit is both having one rider in that breakaway. Now, that brings us to our first tipping point. Little Trek has a choice here. They let this breakaway go for the stage win, because Alpecin is seemingly happy with Mathieu van der Poel in this breakaway going for the stage win against Quinn Simmons. But instead, Miss Pedersen nukes that climb, attacks to bridge solo to this breakaway. In doing so, Simmons is waiting from the breakaway for Pedersen on this 2.5 kilometer climb you mentioned earlier. And Simmons starts pacing for Pedersen to catch back up to the breakaway, which now has Van der Poel and no Simmons. And Pedersen just explodes in the wheel. And first question, Patrick, it would already have been more beneficial if this break just went and Pedersen didn't make that move for Trek.
But if you get, yeah, I agree. And that, but if you're going to do, I don't understand why it's Pedersen doing it. Like,
yes.
Pace with Vasek, pace with Verona, pace with G, pace first, also to put Philipsen in trouble. You also need Philipsen dropped, because what had happened was, it was the perfect situation for Alpecin. The sprinters have been carried in the wheels on this rolling terrain the whole time. Pedersen's jumped 20 times himself. We then get to, now the sprinters are starting a 3K 6% climb. Okay, they're going to get dropped, but by how much? Not much. And then a descent where they're going to whack it. And so Philipsen, you need to drop him too. He needs to be dropped from also group 2. And yeah, Pedersen jumps himself and cracks. And I'm like,
shocking.
Why? Yeah, like he just can't accept. He can't accept that he's not going to be in the front group.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. If he's not in the front group and this breakaway goes, it's also a beneficial situation for Little Trek, because, like you said at the exact start of this podcast, the breakaway taking the points at the finish line takes it away from a potential sprint. And that makes a break even, where Pedersen is still 31 points ahead in the points classification. But that point to the side, Pedersen indeed cracked, but it was pretty chaotic, this climb, to be honest, because we see the first breakaway getting caught over the top by a small portion of the peloton, after which there's a gap in the peloton.
Huge split.
Pogacar and Evenepoel are in the first group. I think Sixas as well, which will lead to a point. Second group has, of course, Pedersen, who cracked, and Del Toro. And
no, Del Toro's in group 3.
Group 3, so 2 groups behind.
So there was, I think at this point, there was that big group, and then on the descent it splits, and then there's re-attacks afterwards. It was so chaotic. Pogacar's then in a smaller group, because there's a kicker. There's a 1K 6% kicker on that descent. It re-splits again. Sykes has made group 1 with Benoit. I swear Skelmoser was there with maybe Simmons.
Yep.
Because Simmons then got back to the break afterwards. And
we'll get to that.
Remco's there, but not really with teammates. So Del Toro's on 40 seconds. I don't know where Ayuso's group was. A group 2 comes back. And I'm like, Decathlon, you should probably send it to put Del Toro was sitting in the group. UAE were, this has happened in a lot of Tours de France, like Wellens was dropped. 1K 5% start dropped. Pollitt was good. Vermeersch dropped. Yates has got diarrhea or stomach issues. he like nearly had to abandon the race. Groschartner was there just about. McNulty dropped early. Pogacar's like, it's also, if I was UAE, I'd be nervous. You've got a group going of 40. Pogacar's on his own. And yeah, if he has a mech, he has a problem. Del Toro's not there. Del Toro's on 40 seconds. No one in his group. So Jayco start chasing Del Toro's group because for Michael Matthews' sprint, all the climbs are finished now. Group 2 comes back at the same time. I think a new break forms without any GC riders.
Yes. And I think that break forms out of with the likes of Pedersen and Hagenes included. Chai Hindley, Quinn Simmons once again, Alex Baudin, Tish Benoit, Mohoric, Bernal, Tarling, Stuyven, Mathieu van der Poel, Engelhard, Castillo, Rubio, Brazafonso, and Guillaume Martin, Rick Pluimert. So quickly wanted to get through the names there because there are quite a few that will be relevant later in the stage.
It's the perfect group. When I saw that group and the names, I said, it's no GC riders.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they've got a puncher's chance. It's strong rouleurs. Enough teams are in it. Alpecin are also happy to let Van der Poel just win.
And track should be relatively okay once again.
Yes.
Second tipping point, I would call it. Where once again, it's a break even for their green jersey classification if this breakaway wins. But they're not actually the team that does anything next. I think it takes about 20 kilometers since the split with Del Toro being behind and Del Toro returning and so forth until Decathlon starts pacing, but not related to Sixas and Del Toro, but for Olaf Kooi, who's still in the peloton. And I think they should have paced earlier, but I'm okay with them pacing for Kooi, especially considering what the end situation of today's stage ends up being.
Really?
But I'm fine with it.
Why didn't they pace for success?
Yeah, that's what I said. I think they should have paced earlier for Success, but I don't mind them pacing later for Kooi, you know?
I agree. I mean, why didn't UNO-X put Abrahamson when it was at 30 seconds? Why did it take...
They did it later. At about 75 kilometers to go, there's UNO-X rider that starts pacing with Hola.
Do you think Join Cycling paid Decathlon to not take Del Toro off the podium?
Wait, you mean this Joint Cycling on my jersey right now?
Yeah, because if they pulled, which they should have, by the way, I have no idea why you don't pull, even if it's not going to go all the way, like to put Del Toro under pressure. UAE were nowhere today. They had no domestiques. Yeah.
Are you talking about the legendary Selksas?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Sykes discount. That if they'd pulled and Sykes went into third, the discount would have kicked up to like 50%, I think.
Well, I've been saying it for days. I would have already been pulling the trigger for 2-3 days.
Benji would have pulled the trigger on. I thought the TT, but yeah, we'll see. We got Orsio Millet tomorrow.
We've got some diamond hands in the chat, I think.
I'm holding. But if you don't know about Join Cycling, it builds your training plan for cycling around you. And you can even do a little bit of running with it too. You can add that and adds a run a week. But mainly it's for cycling. It looks at your current fitness, your recent training. You put in your available time and your goals, and then it adapts your workouts as you go automatically as you change any input. If you feel fresher than expected, you feel good, you can add that in, Join adjusts. You can still do smashing rides with your mates on the weekend. You don't have to just do structured training every single ride. Join will adjust to whatever you're doing. And the point is, you're always doing the workout that's right for you on the day, rather than blindly following a static training plan. So whether you're training for your first Gran Fondo, trying to set a new FTP, or you want a bit more structure to your riding, Join takes the guesswork out of getting faster. If you want to give it a try, you can go to the link in the show notes. There's a special discount available, which we just referred to, 40% at the moment if you use the Sykes discount. I'm thinking third is possible on a stage, but maybe if you believe Benji, which maybe you should, you can lock that in now. It's the best you're going to get. Thanks to Join for supporting us, not just during the Tour de France, but throughout the whole year. So this rouleur break, I think it's gone. I thought Decathlon, I'm looking at who's behind Decathlon, and it's very small people. And I'm like, Nicola Prudhomme.
Dan Hola's not small.
No, behind Dan Hola,
Okay.
I only saw smalls. And I thought...
I thought you were calling Dan Hola small. I was like,
no,
what?
Definitely not. And I thought, well, this is not going to last, is it? I don't know why X didn't help them at that point, but
Yeah, they end up helping later after I think Jorgensen, Healy, and Lebede maybe jump across towards that first group from Total Energy, the last rider there. But I think the next thing that actually happens here, like to be clear, the gap has now come down to maybe 40 seconds. So for this entire space between 100 kilometers to go and 65 kilometers to go, it's the gaps in like both groups are in play, is what I'm trying to say. Then we see Adam Yates hard dropping in the peloton. Only, I think, one rider maybe left with Pogacar and Del Toro at this point, which that's a little bit disturbing. But with 65 kilometers to go, Patrick, group is 25 seconds ahead of the peloton, and we're on a slight uphill drag. He's back. The cracked man from the first climb, who probably shouldn't have attacked on the first climb, and maybe in this situation, if it's 25 seconds and the brake looks like it's going to get caught, I don't hate him trying to bridge towards his breakaway as much.
Yeah, because the brake was really... Simmons wasn't pulling in it. The brake was not functioning too well. Hagenes had stopped pulling whilst Jorgensen was bridging across. Van der Poel's not going to pull full gas because he's got Philipsen behind. So there's really not... The teams that want the brake to go are the teams that need space to attack. So EF with Healy, Movistar with Castrillo and Garcia Piona.
Simmons should have been one that should have wanted the break to go.
Yeah, they were telling him to sit on because they knew Pedersen was going to do this move, I think.
Yeah.
You know who snuck into the break, by the way, who's an absolute master? Or maybe he did it later.
Tell me.
Oh, he's not there at the moment, actually. He comes in the last second. But yeah, Pedersen jumps, and I was like, that's risky because it's flat now. And he's cracking Philipsen. So he gets across, Simmons pulls him, Simmons then gets there. Philipsen was with Coy, and there was Verstringer there for Albertson, and there's a couple of teammates, Campanar's coming across. Philipsen's on 5 seconds, can't get across, and there's a little rise, and Trek crack him. And it actually, at this point, looks like a Trek masterclass. They've got 2 in front. Pollitt was also following for Team GC, by the way, but Trek have 2 in front. Philipsen's gone.
I loved the kind of like chasing game where Philipsen is like stuck in a group 3 right now, ahead of the peloton. Then there's the group 2, which, well, to be fair, at this point it's 2 groups, I'm pretty sure, where Philipsen is in the second group and Pedersen and Simmons are in the first one. You've got this kind of drag race, right? Between the 2 groups where Simmons and Pedersen just keep on shredding the first group to the point that I think with 61-ish kilometers to go or maybe 58 kilometers to go, we see Pedersen after maybe 1 or 2 tries getting into a group with Plankard and Kwiatkowski. You've got Plankard who... Go ahead.
That was because the group wasn't cooperating, and then, Pedersen just whacks it again. Pedersen was literally in smash mode. He was in, like, in Mario Kart?
I do respect it.
When you get a star, you ride through a star in Mario Kart, and you're just in smash mode.
Okay.
That was Pedersen.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
I think what he did here was actually... Like, I disagree with the general plan. I disagree with how we got to this point. But now you're at the point. What Pedersen does is really smart. And because he can then take the 25 points of the IS. He just pulls full to get there. Visma had 3 riders. They miss it. This was Hagenes' meal ticket. Hagenes had to be in that move, or Campanar's.
Who's in it?
In no 5.
Healy, Kwiatkowski,
who was second in stage 19 at a similar stage 2 years ago. Healy, Sturven, Plankard not pulling, Engelhardt kind of not pulling anymore because he's got Bling and Schmidt behind, and Pedersen pulling full.
I wouldn't mind Engelhardt pulling in this group, to be honest, because Schmidt's a pretty good cyclist, Match is a pretty good cyclist, but in a hypothetical sprint against Philipsen and Sofov, they're going to be useless. So they need to attack.
Yeah, there's
in terms of Schmidt.
I would want it to come back to attack with a Schmidt, but
you can play both cards.
You can play both cards. It's looking bad for Philipsen now. I don't know what happened. Did Philipsen then get back to like?
Well,
what did Philipsen come 6th at the IS?
I am trying to take a look right now. I can only see the top 5, so that is bloody useless. I don't actually know.
But the guy I was saying, you know who was the last rider of the whole day? He jumped 1 time, the jump from the peloton, and made this final move. And Jordan Jagat. Jordan Jagat took 8 minutes today, jumping 1 time, and getting into the breakaway. No other top 10
Philipsen
rider.
7th.
Pardon?
7th at the intermediate sprint,
Okay.
Jasper Philipsen. So that is a 16, my math, yes, 16-point deficit at the intermediate sprint for Philipsen. So Pedersen does a great job getting 16 points on Philipsen there. But so yeah, he made it to that group at that point. We've got those 6 riders out the front, and this is where maybe 24 kilometers to go. And I think it's at the intermediate sprint or just after, where did Stuyven attack after the intermediate sprint?
Yeah, he used it. Pedersen just stopped. So this is where I also don't get it. Pedersen just stopped at the intermediate sprint. And I was like, you're pot committed now. Like, you need this break to go to the finish, because Philipsen's back. Now in Group 2 is Philipsen. I know we're all over the place today, but it really was like, the
race was all over the place.
It was chaotic. Group 2 is Campenaert's pulling because Visma missed the group, which they should have made.
Yeah, but I even think that they don't need to pull at this point either.
No, it's not on them, but it's more like, oh my God, we have 3 riders and we should have been in that group.
Yes, I just think that they should eat the other people's plate out first before doing work themselves.
Alpecin, Alpecin are not really playing the Eddie Plancart card. So they're going to pull. But Alpecin play it cool for a bit. But then, yeah, you have Campenaerts, FDJ, Jayco with when he comes back, and Alpecin when
Engelhard and
Plancart
O'Connor?
comes. Yeah, they start pulling. Because basically the Pedersen-Healy group goes nowhere. Trek don't
And you've
pull.
got it. True. And
You were getting hyped about Stuyven.
I was getting hyped about Jasper Stuyven. I sent a message to Jasper Stuyven's wife, I think early this year, that stage 17 of this Tour de France would be the one. What, sorry?
Go on.
Don't make a Troy reference right now. That stage 17 at the Tour de France would be the one. So I was like, fuck, this will be epic. But it wasn't meant to be, because the gap started coming down, especially once every other group came together, Once that Group 2 by Healy and Savolf gets caught by the Group 3 with Campenaerts and Jayco and Alpecin now starting to pull all out, and with all those people pacing, maybe 4 or 5 riders collaborating, trying to catch Jasper Stuyven, he's doomed, knowing that hill in the last 10 kilometers is coming. So with maybe 8 kilometers to go, the gap was 30 seconds. Then Verstringen was done with his pool. With 5K to go, gap is down to 20 seconds. He's holding well, but the uphill is here. O'Connor is dropped, and this is where it gets interesting, Patrick, because right now is the moment. This is tipping point number 3.
Moment.
The money moment, we'll call it that. Derek G takes over with Simmons in the wheel and Pedersen in the wheel. G takes over hard. Pedersen says, stop. In this moment, from my perspective, Trek has 2 choices. If Pedersen has the legs, you smash it with a team and try to launch Pedersen on this hill. If Pedersen does not have the legs, you let every other Trek rider attack. Because either your goal is to win the stage with Pedersen if he has the legs, or you want your other riders to take the points away from Philipsen, who is in this group with a lead out in Mathieu van der Poel. Instead, they do neither. They sit up the tempo.
It was crazy.
And basically wait for the sprint. And that is the worst option of the
And worse
tree.
than that, they were following moves that they should have been letting go. So when Hagen, I know I'm self-interested, but when Hagenes jumps and Derek G was full gas following him, not dropping his wheel, I was like, you should want Hagenes to win. Or at least.
Wow. Or have Simmons with him and ride. Simmons.
Yeah, but at least make Van der Poel close it. And it was really, they were like following and then not pulling with moves. I would have just been attacking left, right, and center with Simmons and G and pulling groups, even if you're going to lose. You cannot risk the 50 points in play. You can't risk it.
There was one moment where I think Simmons closed down Pedersen and Hagenes and then tried to counter, but by that point, Van der Poel was on his wheel and had already closed him. So I think they made the wrong decision here. I think they fucked up. I don't want to blame Pedersen too much, because I feel like he's he's been riding all out all day, cracking maybe twice or 3 times in the stage. So I think Pedersen was completely fucked, if I'm gonna be honest on that climb. But then your option is attacking with Simmons and G. But anyway, from that point onwards, we see a few moves by maybe a Castrillo, maybe a Garcia Pierna. I don't know if he was in the group or not. I don't remember.
Yeah, he was. He was.
With 2.5k to go, Derek G starts setting a controlling tempo, which you know my take on that already. And we're heading towards a sprint, but Philipsen is not the only sprinter there. We haven't mentioned him too much. Olaf Koy is also in this breakaway after jumping into this large group earlier in the stage. Once that 60 kilometer to go bunch of attacks, that chaotic attack phase started. Olaf Koy without a lead out, you can count Tish Benoit to try and put him in a position. Mathieu van der Poel is there for Philipsen. Pedersen has Simmons as a lead out, I guess. How was the sprint?
Benoit brings up Koy. Pedersen does a big effort to bring himself up to the right-hand side. I think Jaco will regret not letting Mara Schmidt off the leash today. I think they were controlling really one-dimensionally for a Michael Matthews sprint. Maybe I misread it, but yeah, indeed. It's just Van der Poel waiting. Josh Tarling launches. He tries a late attack, but he's brought back by, I have to look, maybe EF, maybe Trek. And yeah, let me check, actually. If it's Trek, that's mental.
What?
If it was Trek that brought back Tarling.
Ooh, I don't think so.
No,
I don't know.
It can't be.
It has to be someone random, right? Jaco, maybe?
20 seconds ago, what a refresh pool. It's Tarling attacking. No, it's EF. EF. That's terrorism. EF were terrorizing. I'm sorry. The other late attackers, there was no camaraderie. The late attacker, we don't have a sprinter union. Never been weaker right now. Volgren blocked all the late attacks. I was like,
I think he was trying to jump with him.
Maybe.
But in doing so, you close him, you know?
It's Mara Schmidt.
Important moment. Right there with 800 meters to go, maybe you can see it. There's a moment where Koy is on a bit of a gap of that Tarling and EF rider closing. Koy is getting gapped a little bit. Mathieu van der Poel is in the wheel with Philipsen, and Mathieu van der Poel tells Philipsen to take the wheel of Koy. I think he then clocks that Koy is losing the wheel, and then rides Mathieu van der Poel, rides Philipsen across to the back of that second rider that's ahead. Is that correct?
Correct. Van der Poel is what, if Philipsen ends up winning the green jersey, it's what Van der Poel did today. He closes that gap because Koy wanted to go deeper. Koy then chops Ploemers, Pedersen's 10th wheel, and so Ploemers and Pedersen have to do a big effort. It's really stretched out of that corner. Mara Schmidt's second wheel. Aski, I assume, third wheel. Pedersen tries a big dive bomb. Aski, and it's still Tarling, Schmidt, Aski, and those positions don't change really, but for the lead out of Van der Poel, 300 to go out of that corner, he gets Philipsen up to speed. He delivers him with a bit of space, finally, just to the right-hand side. They get the lead out perfect today. He drops him off at 150, and Philipsen wins the stage going away from everybody. Mara Schmidt comes second. Really strong sprint from him. Yeah, it literally doesn't... Out of that corner, but for Van der Poel's lead out, it does not change. It's literally like Schmidt, Koy, Aski, then Ploemers, Rousseau, very impressive. Hubart's another top 10. Pedersen 8th. Michael Matthews 9th. Agates 10th. Crazy stage. Philipsen, he's waited for it, and he gets the win from the breakaway in a sprint.
I love it.
I do like today was, as I said, I wasn't over embellishing it, but I think today was a cracking stage. Like really cracking all-day racing stage. I loved it. The
most important outcome for me is I was always hoping that today's stage, like I picked Pedersen for the stage, but I was hoping that Philipsen would take points on him for the sake of the green jersey battle lasting until the final day. And this is the perfect outcome for that green jersey battle. Because right now after the stage, Miss Pedersen has 452 points and Jasper Philipsen 445. So a 7-point difference going into the final 4 stages of this Tour de France. Final 3, sorry.
Luke, can
4.
you please check the coefficient of Champs-Elysees? It's got to be a 50-pointer, right?
Yeah, it's a 50-pointer.
It is?
Take my word for it.
Okay, I'll take Benjamin Narson's word for it. Send him hate mail if he's wrong, but it's a
My
50.
email is Patrick at.
I actually don't know what my email is.
I do, but I shouldn't dox you, even though it's on the website.
7 points. 7 points now. Let's look at the intermediate sprints coming up. Tomorrow, I won't do the stage preview tomorrow, but let's say stage 19 and 20, I don't believe Pedersen's getting in the intermediate into the breakaway. I know he's climbed well, but I don't believe it. Sorry. Stage 21, we have an intermediate sprint worth 25 points, and there's a 5-point delta if you're second, so you lose 5 points. If you're second, that's going to be huge. And then at the finish, it's 50 points, and second gets like 30 points. So it's going to be right to the line. I think Van der Poel is going to be chained a little bit maybe on stage 21. Maybe block, because today he was blocking, like he blocked the Hagenez move, which worked out really well in the end. Because, yeah, Van der Poel, frankly, he could have just straight up kicked over the top of Hagenez and won the stage solo. I really believe that. But what, in terms of GC, by the way, Jordan Giga, absolute master. He's sewn up his top 10 now. He has moved into, he's 9th still, but he's now 10 minutes ahead of 10th. Genius move. Yeah. He took 8.5 minutes.
Crazy.
With one jump, bang, in the break. See you later.
The gaps are so much bigger between like P9 and 10 that I would have expected.
Because he took 8 minutes. He took 9 minutes nearly today.
Yeah, but to take 8 minutes and not surpass anyone? You know what I mean?
Yeah, as in like he's still behind Pidcock by a minute.
Crazy.
Yeah. Jagat, absolute masterclass today. No changes in the top 10. Yates lost a spot because he like got dropped from the Gruppetto, I think. Like Yates was with Wellens in like their own Gruppetto. So I think there's some sickness in the UAE camp, some injuries. I think that does really affect the racing going, like
especially tomorrow.
Like, yeah, are they really maybe they will, but are they really gonna put the hammer down? And with who to chase the break?
That's the thing. Normally, I'd say tomorrow, easy stage to control. Pogacar can even lead out Del Toro on the final sprint, whatever, on Orsier Merlet. It's not the craziest climb in the world.
Week 1, Wellens and Pollitt can control this whole stage themselves.
Yep. I think it's breakaway as a consequence. By the way, did we undergo the stage? There's a climb in the first half. It's the Côte d'Angers, 12 kilometers, 5.5%. It tops at about 26 kilometers in, but keeps gradually going up to another 20 kilometers. So I don't know closely. Then we go down towards a second cat climb. The first climb was a first cat climb. That second cat climb is 6 kilometers, 5%. So if the break has not formed on the first climb, it might happen here, but I assume it will be formed on the first climb. Then the third climb is a small bump afterwards, not too relevant. Then not completely flat, kind of rolling towards the foot of the final climb, which is 7 kilometers at. I can't read that percentage. Can you? It's not that steep, right?
Orsier Merlet.
Yeah.
It's like 6.7%.
So yeah, it's
not steep.
This is the kind of sprint, the kind of climb where I could have seen like a Del Toro group sprint happening here if GC riders mattered.
I thought UAE, if they had their full complement, if you want to gift Del Toro 10 bonies plus a 5-second
stage win
and a stage win, this is the one where he could win a group sprint.
But I think it's break as a consequence of Adam Yates's bowels.
McNulty got hit by a car. Yates is
That's crazy, by the way.
Yeah, in the recon. And apparently it was like road rage, which is crazy. So McNulty got hit by a car. He was dropped today. Vermeersch is no good. Großschartner got crashed in the Vingegaard crash. Wellens is...
Del Toro crashed there as well, right? Or am I inventing that?
Yeah, Del Toro crashed there as well. But he can't chase the break. It's like... It would be, especially before the 2 biggest mountain stages, I can't see it. Unless Wellens is back to normal tomorrow.
Question 1. does Mats Pedersen get into the breakaway and survive for the intermediate sprint, which is
Nah.
50 kilometers from the finish line after 3 categorized climbs?
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're not going to like it.
I'm not going to like it.
So Pedersen's not strong enough to make that break. It's 11.6 Ks, 5.5%. It's a Cat 1 too. So like the KOM boys will be kicking off. It's a soft Cat 1, 10 points available. But it's not that hard either. Trek are going to control a smaller break to bring it back and try to drop Philipsen, and they should do this. I know it's really strange. Trek need to drop Philipsen on the two 10K 5% climbs and then have Pedersen sprint for, say, even 12 points at the intermediate sprint, even if there's still a break of 5 ahead.
I don't think it's happening. I don't think this is happening.
Why?
I think Simmons will go in the breakaway
That
and
would
try
be
to go for the stage.
insane. That would be insane.
I think Simmons will go in the breakaway. Pedersen will try. If he succeeds, he will be in the breakaway. If he doesn't, then it's going to go for Simmons.
Why would they go for Simmons now? He's in prison.
Well, I mean, Pedersen will try to join the breakaway. If he can join the breakaway, then he can fight for the intermediate sprint. If he fails, then Simmons will be in the break and try to win the stage.
They won't give up.
I don't think that's giving up, actually.
Pedersen.
I think that's not a horrible strategy.
No,
Because then it's Pedersen's fault if he can't survive a 5% climb, which big Pedersen can survive.
I don't get me wrong. Simmons can win this stage, no problem. He can win this stage, but they have to put those intermediate sprint points in play.
I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, or something. Is that the verb expression?
Yeah, it
thing?
is.
Simmons gonna win the stage.
I'm afraid that's not how it's going to work.
I guess. Well, to be honest, I'm 70 points ahead in the bloody prediction contest. I need to give you something to win. So pick the winner, please. This Tour de France has been over since week 1 in terms of the fight between us. I'm trying to gift you a victory, Patrick. I'm trying to be Pogacar on Plateau de Solaison.
Why didn't Pogacar wait for Del Toro today?
Okay, get the fuck out of here.
Del Toro's watching the white jersey go up the road and he's probably looking at Jefferson Cepeda or something. He's like, well, you need a pull first before I do a pull. It's like,
Hey, it worked.
It worked. Yeah, Jacob pulled. I go Mara Schmidt. No, I go Plapp. I go Plappy. Plapp.
I like it. Schmidt was good as well today, right?
Yeah, Schmidt was second.
Yeah,
He should have attacked. I like Plapp for it. Jacob in the break. I think Trek are going to try to control the stage to some degree to sprint to get 10 to 15 intermediate sprint points for Pedersen. I actually think they should do it. Ideally, like Benji says, ideally he gets in the break.
Yeah.
Maybe he can do that if they block and then the break goes after the KOM point. It's not so steep. He can probably get in the break there.
Like, today is the only reason that I would say Pedersen doesn't make the break. Because if I look at first week, 2 weeks of this race, Pedersen, I'd say he might make a break.
Is he climbing that well?
Well, today he didn't. That's my point.
Yeah.
But also he went way over the top of what he should have been pulling on that climb. He shouldn't have been the one pulling in the first place.
I think we're going to see something crazy tomorrow in break formation. It's going to be very exciting.
I'm sorry. There's only one rider in this entire peloton that could crack twice and still be in the 5-man group with Stuyven, by the way.
Exactly. That was very impressive. But yeah, I think breakaway. I go Mr. Plapp, and I think Pedersen he's back on 20 points tomorrow after the stage.
Okay. Wait, sorry, what?
Like his lead, he extends his green jersey lead back to 20 points after tomorrow.
So you're saying he does take points at the intermediate sprint?
Yeah, because they.
But you're saying he does it from the peloton?
From the peloton, when Philipsen's dropped, they will pull so he can sprint.
Okay. I think your strategy is way more complex than then
No, but-
may more unlikely than mine is.
If he doesn't make the break, they have to do that. If he doesn't make the break, you can't say we go to stage 21 like this.
I'm sorry, if you're Quinn Simmons, I'd pull my radio out. I'd be like, Mark Soler, bye-bye team.
The irony is, if they let Simmons race in a few situations freely, Pedersen would have a bigger green jersey lead.
Today, at least.
That's the irony. The thing is, Albertson, they can look bad for a few stages, a few sprints in week 1, but by the end of 3 weeks in a Tour de France, if there's one thing I know, Albertson win a few stages, 3 stages, and they win a sprint jersey. Alrighty.
Okay.
GC, do you expect anyone to drop?
No. Maybe Ayuso if he's actually like shit, but good Ayuso shouldn't drop here. But time trial Ayuso was not good, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he'll drop.
I shouldn't. If you're dropping on a 17-minute, 6.5% climb when you're a power climber, you got a big problem for the next days. So
Remco should attack.
I agree.
What's the worst that can happen? You lose 10 seconds compared to third by overextending?
That won't even happen. So yeah, he's good. Maybe why should he though? He can win the sprint. Well, you know who's the only team who'll chase tomorrow?
You're saying Red Bull.
Red Bull might chase tomorrow for a Remco group sprint. Why you shake your head?
With Lipovic out. Van Gils, Van Dijk. I think Van Gils goes in the breakaway.
Fuck that. What?
I'm just saying what's more likely to happen.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Remco just won stage 15 in a sprint against Pog and Del Toro.
Yeah, but if Pog attacks on Sierra Millet, he can still gap Remco Evenepoel.
Can he?
The fun aspect of the sport of cycling right now is the day Tadej Pogacar has a bad day, we'll be like, oh, he just gifted the victory because we're used to him being so good. So I think Plateau de Sol is almost gift. You say it wasn't?
No,
One day there's going to be
50-50.
Okay. One day there's going to be a very important moment where Pogacar actually has a bad day and we're all going to be like, nah, he's just holding back.
Yeah,
he's just holding back.
Cold Lows of 2023.
I don't think we were saying he was holding back on Cold Lows 2023.
Amstel Gold Race 2025.
I think the radio that said, I'm gone, I'm dead was enough to conclude.
I think Red Bull's a chance to control tomorrow for the stage win.
I'm happy for you.
What's it got to do with me? You don't think? Why wouldn't they do that?
How many teams want to go in the breakaway tomorrow?
Coupler.
I don't believe Red Bull has it in him. I don't think they have the minerals.
Catania can do it. Hindley's good.
I don't think they'll do it. They'll want to save their energy for not pacing on stage.
True. It's because it's not fun Remco at the moment, is it? It's serious. We got serious Remco right now.
Yes.
So
wants to finish second in this Tour de France, Remco.
So they're going to wait for the two mountain stages.
We're saying Remco should attack on the last guy. Where's he going to go? He's going to drop Pogacar by 5 minutes and win the stage? Is our take?
No, I just beat him in the sprint.
I think he'll be happy by defending second place by the end of this race.
Yeah, I know that. All right, fair enough, fine. Okay. Luke
Visma has to get in the break, by the way. Becomes only top 10 on the line.
Fuck me. No, today it's gone. You had to be in the break today.
Of the gap, I don't actually know.
The thing is, like, guys in the top 10 keep getting...
Voisard is not unbeatable.
Voisard's more a puncher, yeah. But Jagat actual masterclass today.
Carapaz will make it. But Carapaz will get P10 by the end of this race.
Yeah.
Two breakaways.
I think so, yeah.
Because, by the way, KOM is still up for grabs for actual attackers, by the way.
The thing is, Carapaz is actually quite a good climber in the third week of a Grand Tour.
Like, the person that's doing this prediction contest between us on the podcast, Roof, actually did an analysis in the comment section of yesterday's podcast in her comment and went through what points are available on every climb. And based on what I read, I think whoever goes, most importantly, stage 20.
Yeah, stage 20 it's overly stacked because you have 3 ore category climbs in a Cat 1.
If you get Croix de Fer, Telegraph, and Galibier as Carapace,
Yeah, you're cooking.
and even the day before, you can get Col du Noyer. Valentin Perepintre is your Achilles heel, though.
But look at tomorrow. Look how soft that Cat 1 is at the start. Like, EF have to put the points in play for Carapaz at the start as well.
It's as simple as keeping the break together until the foot of the climb, and then fucking launch it.
Yeah, so I think tomorrow's going to be an exciting stage, probably breakaway, but anyway, you never know. I think today was a class stage. I'm going to have trouble making the highlight video, which I have to do now. I got to cut all that stage up. It's like a classic.
I'm going to put my legs up. I climbed Alpe de Zwift during break formation of this stage, and I don't think I felt this sore after riding my bike in a very long time. So I'm going to do fuck all for the rest of the day.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks for listening as always. We'll see the recap of Orsia Millet tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.